A couple of weeks ago, a client asked me about gala frequency. She said, what if we held a gala every 5 years instead of every year? And I knew what she was getting at. She and her little small staff had been overwhelmed by the amount of time that it took to pull this gala off. And it was incredibly successful. So I'm going to tell you what I told her. But first, I want to set this up a little bit. So she works for a very large school. They have the littlest kiddos all the way up through 12th grade, over 1,000 students. But it was her, one staff member, and then they had 2 volunteer moms as gala chairs that were helping with all of this. Again, it was an incredibly successful event, best that they've had in 4 years. And a lot of things finally worked right. Processes and so forth worked right. But if you look at her title, I think her title was Director of Enrollment, like admissions, enrollment, marketing, communication, and development. So she's doing like 4 jobs and in a big school. And she's got one other person helping with all this. So I understand the overwhelmment that she was coming from. And the idea of having to do this every year is just like mind blowing here. So here's what I said. And then I'm going to share some reasons why. I said, look, you could stretch this to every other year. And that might be a good strategy for you, knowing what they've got going on. You might be able to stretch it to every 3 years. But beyond that, it is like starting over every year. It is not going, you don't retain the processes, the knowledge, the history of people. It's all gone and you're starting over. So that is what you have to keep in mind if you're going for anything further than really every other year, possibly every 3 years. Now, I'm going to give you some examples, but I just want you to know, as a gala chair or development director, whatever position you're holding as you're planning an auction, you don't realize how much knowledge you're absorbing. And it's not the type of thing that is captured in auction software or Word doc, Google Docs, Excel spreadsheets. It's not. Let me give some examples of this. So first, learning information like the rhythm of your auction season. Oh, you got to call that company in April, because if we wait till May, it's too late. We're not going to get the sponsorship from them. Who needs information at what month in order to make an impact on your event? That's one of them. How about the importance of various tasks, like understanding the importance of the seating meeting? Oh, Dolores, we've got to put her with her friends because we ran out of space. We put her with the Joneses last year. We never heard the end of it. She didn't make the donation she said she would. Dolores has to sit with her friends. Knowing that the seating meeting is important, knowing what you can let slide and what you absolutely can't let slide. That's something that you learn. The contacts at key companies. When you call that company, talk to Margie. Margie has taken a tour of our facility. She's a good friend of our group. She'll get us something good. There's a company, kind of an example here, a company in the DC area. Oh, hey, by the way, ignore everything going. It's tax season. It's gala season. I just got back from a gala myself. Ignore the mess that's behind you and all of this. I can't even get the lighting working right. So there's a company here in the DC area, and a number of my clients will get a trip from them. But you can't just call the company and get a fabulous trip. You got to know who to call at the company to get the fabulous trip. So that's an example when I say, and I've jotted down here, the contacts at key companies. That stuff disappears when you wait too long to have your auction. Other skills. Okay, like a technology skill. This is a good one. So most everybody uses some version of auction software. So you're in there every year, you kind of remember what to do. It's kind of like me in QuickBooks. It's like, I'm not in there every day, but you start to do it enough and you remember what you're supposed to do. But in auction software, if you're not in it at least once a year, every other year, you're kind of like, how do I change the increments here? Or does this software allow us to set up tables? I don't remember. You just lose it. So it's like starting over all again, learning the software in addition to learning how to pull off the auction itself. The other thing too is not so much even the knowledge, it's just the people. I think that a development director is every 3 years. Is that what the average development director is at hired position before they move on? I want to say it's every 3 years. So you might be thinking, hey, we're going to put a plan in place where every 4 years we have an auction gala. That's going to be our system and so forth. Well, maybe you're doing that because you don't want to be here. That could be. That's a good strategy if you don't want to be here for the auction. You won't even be there next time. No one on your staff will be there next time. There are clients that I have that I am, if you want to call me a part of the team, I am the longest serving member of the team. So we'll be sitting there and maybe they don't have a trip. And I'll be like, wait a second, what about that St. Thomas Villa? We sold that 4 years ago. And they'll be like, we have a St. Thomas Villa? So I'll look up and I'll find out the donor. I'll say, are these people still donating? And maybe they are. And I'll say, well, hey, go ask them about their St. Thomas Villa. Maybe we should be selling that in the auction. I have that information, but imagine if I wasn't there, this team is just starting out brand new. Whatever contacts they can find, it's hard. It's really hard. I would even go so far as to say that if you were interviewing for a job and an auction is part of your responsibilities that you'll be, measured up against, that might be something that you want to ask is, all right, who else, who's been here that's been through this cycle, who really works with the auction? Because that information, I am telling you, it is not captured anywhere in a place that makes it easy for people to pick up. I'm not saying that it might be in some random letter or donation over somewhere, but some of the stories around it or how you got it or why you got it, it's gone. And so it just makes it harder to get stuff. Anything else? Nope, I think that's it. So I guess here's the question for you, right? You can post this down below. What do you think? How long do you think your organization could reasonably go between auctions and maintain consistency to the point that, yeah, you'd rock it when you held your gala? Don't know. I think it's every other year, really. I do have a client that does an event every 5 years, but it's like starting over. They do that. They don't do an auction. So, or they do a very small auction. It's pretty much just about the raise the paddle, that mission moment. But if you are trying to do a full-fledged live auction, silent auction, do a couple raffles, I think that every other year is going to be about the most you can stretch it. But I'd love to hear what you got to say. All right. For more information, you go to redappleauctions.com. My name's Sherry Truler. Hey, good luck to you at your next auction. Bye.